Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of At Home with the Willises. I am Nicci, and
I'm Jameen at home.
And today's topic is: do side hustles really help you get ahead? Interesting topic. But first, you're at home with the Willises. So before we get started, I want to remind you to make sure you subscribe. So hit that button right down there and also hit the bell so that you are notified every time we upload new content. As you know, now we are well over 1,000 subscribers. So big time numbers, okay, folks?
Right.
And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do that. We love our subscribers. And once we hit 5,000,
prize packs, 5,000 prize packs downloading.
Boom. Boom. So maybe you might be one of them. And anybody can get it this time. Anybody can get it. So big things happening.
Yeah.
Anywho.
How you doing this week?
I'm good. This is a good week. It's a good week. I'm excited to talk about side hustles.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting. I've had a couple.
Yeah.
We were talking about how I had that.
A lot of.
I won't name the actual company, but I was part of
talk about our side hustles. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I won't name the actual company, but remember when I was selling cosmetics?
Mm-hmm.
I did that too.
You did that too?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
I don't even wear makeup, so it was a very hard sell for me. Because I'm like,
fact that
wait.
you didn't even
wait.
wear makeup.
No.
And you're like, here's your booklet. Get the
it was a hard sell for me because I couldn't tell you that you needed makeup when I know that I don't need makeup. So I felt like I was, I felt like I was setting you up.
That's so funny. How did you get into it? I'm just curious. Like, who was the person?
This is before GM became a part of the Willis team. Because my most favorite thing to say is you can't sell what you haven't bought yourself.
That's true.
So
that is true.
Tell us how you got into this, GM.
So yeah, who?
So one of my sorority sisters was like a director.
Yeah.
And, of course, she showed us all of her stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody knew I didn't wear makeup. I've never worn makeup. I've always been a lip gloss girl. And she was just like, well, they have skincare and everybody has skin, so we'll go from there. And I said, okay. And that was that.
That was it.
Yeah.
And then you had to buy all the samples and all the things.
All the samples and the things.
Yeah.
Yep. Go to the meetings and smile real big.
I just remember this lady telling me oh my goodness, you would do so well. Like you would do so well. Like she asked me how many people do you know? And I was like, I don't know. I have a big family. She's like, oh yes, you'll do just so well. And I came home and I'm like, babe, I sell cosmetics now. You looked at me the same way that when I cut my hair off.
Well, here's the thing.
He was like,
well, first of all, not to call it a scheme because it's a legitimate thing.
It's a legitimate business for some people.
But cosmetics is probably the original pyramid scheme. Not scheme, but pyramid business. What do you call it? Multi-level.
There you go. You have to call
marketing
it
business. So that's probably the original multi-level marketing business. Whether it be Mary Kay, Avon, they had a black-owned hair care thing, and my cousin Brandy, she broke out. She had she had
a chemical burn type look.
Yeah, she had a really bad rash that it took her a long time to get rid of because my aunt, she was selling it and she was allergic to it. But anyways, I think that's probably one of the original multi-level thing, and then came the insurance and prepaid legal and the cleaning, everything came after that.
I don't know. I have no idea what the history is, but I mean, it works because you get more people under you. And I never got any. Did you get a team? Did you get people under you?
No, I didn't
either. I didn't either.
I got an aunt that still does it. And
really?
Yeah, I think she still does it. Maybe she's transitioned, but shout out to my aunt Bonita. She sold Avon for ever. Like she used to have the store. Like you go in the living room and she would have tables set up just full of Avon stuff. Oh yeah. And her son is like a major league baseball player now.
She didn't necessarily need it, but maybe, she was good at it though.
Yeah, so she had a whole store. You walked in there, and in the living room, she used to have those parties, but she had it set up or like a store. She had 6-foot tables and stuff.
I love that.
And my mom did
embrace it.
Probably both of them, but it didn't really change.
Yeah.
No, the people that got me into it, the sorority sister that was a director,
yeah,
turned around and took, like, she did really well, and then she took her money and they went and bought a Fat Burger, and now she has a franchise for Fat Burgers.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about.
You didn't buy nothing, no, Jen.
No.
I didn't either. It's fine. It's fine.
So we're gonna talk about side hustles. Do they help you get ahead? Is it a good thing to do? Why do we do it? The Black community have a lot of side hustles and different things that we do. So
it'll be an interesting topic. Y'all go ahead and start chiming in.
This is a very popular show. It's like a second wind. It's super popular in like China and like other countries now. Okay. Everybody Hates Chris.
Yes.
And on Everybody Hates Chris, the father on the show is Julius. Mm-hmm. And Julius works 2 jobs. And you joke about this.
I joke about that all the time.
My husband got 2 jobs.
Yes.
So
I'm like, I don't need this. My husband got 2 jobs.
So in the Black community, a lot of us have the Julius mentality. Mm-hmm. We got multiple jobs. We got multiple businesses. We got side hustles and things like that. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, like we talked about this last week on the podcast, especially as men, we think that our job, a lot of times people identify us as being a provider. And you feel like you're supposed to be working. So if you got some spare time, I can pick up this shift, or I can do this business. Am I right? I can do this business. So spare time, I can get a second job, or I can do a side hustle. A lot of us has grown up with that Julius mentality. It's like, okay, I got my 9 to 5, but then I got my side hustle or my 9 job. And if you don't do that, if you're not on your hustle or you're not on your grind, you looked at as lazy or not providing or not doing the best that you can. There's nothing wrong with making extra money. Like, we're going to talk about the different areas. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with making extra money, right? But the thing that you just have to fill up all your time with doing something extra, or if you're not working, you lazy.
But sometimes it's a need. Sometimes, sometimes it's a need. Sometimes what you have, there's not enough money at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. There's more month left than there is money, and you have to have, a side job or a side hustle, to make the ends meet. We've had plenty. Mm-hmm. We've had plenty, but I mean, I do think it's interesting what you said about the grind or the hustle mentality. That I think is dangerous, and I think I want to say I was seeing that a lot coming out of COVID, and you just saw people just talking about grinding all the time. I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm hustling, grinding, and just, the whole hustle life or grinding life. And to me, that is dangerous because you are supposed to have rest. You are supposed to, you can't keep running down the gears and not be able to rest or stop or have at least one day. I mean, that's, for me, like, it's hard, but I have to do it. I have to have at least one day off. And when you have the 9 to 5 and the 5 to 9, when can you?
Yeah, I mean, as entrepreneurs, it's already kind of hard to turn it off, especially with real estate. Mm-hmm. Like, whether you're a realtor or an investor, it's always something that you can be doing. Like, you don't have to be doing it, but there's never like, I don't have anything to do that I could do right now. You can always do something with real estate, whether it's checking on your deals or checking on property or prospecting to get new clients or new properties or something like that. But I had a conversation. I never forget this day. my youngest son played football, and I was like negotiating a deal on the football field. I was on the sideline, and like one of the other team dads was like, "Man, you be on your grind, you be on your hustle, like that's what's up." And I was like, "Nah, man, the real play is being able to sit here and relax and watch my son play football and not be on the phone, not negotiating a contract, and I still got money coming in. I'm able to sit here and not be on the phone and enjoy myself."
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I think like in the Black community, it's the stigma that like if you're not busy, that you're not on your hustle. Like you should always be hustling. And the point that I want to bring out is all that a lot of times the hustling and the side hustling and stuff, it doesn't necessarily translate to you getting ahead. Now you got to do what you got to do to survive. If your 9 to 5 or whatever you do doesn't pay your bills, then you get a side hustle. You get a second job. I remember I was telling Jen earlier today, I remember at one time I worked full-time in property management. Yep. I was a realtor, selling houses when I could, and then I worked at the apartment complex where we lived at, opening and closing the pool to get a discount on my rent. And I was the facilities manager / property manager at the church.
That's right.
I had 4 jobs at one time.
Yeah.
Now, if you rewind back to those times, it wasn't helping us get ahead. It was just helping us stay afloat. So you think, oh, I'm going to work my full-time job, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get ahead. I was listening to Earn Your Leisure, and it was talking about name somebody you know that their side hustle or working 2 jobs that really got ahead. And you can say, look at this person. They did this and they did this, and now they're in this position in life. So a lot of times, side hustle, you trade in you trade in another time for money. So you got a 9 to 5 that trades time for money, and then you got a second job or a side hustle where you trade in time for money, and it doesn't necessarily, a lot of times it doesn't help you get ahead. It can help you stay afloat, but it doesn't help you get ahead instead of maybe taking all of your time, all of your energy, and focusing on like one thing. And I was talking about earlier on in our marriage, and even in dead smack in the middle of our marriage, me and you both were doing 2 different things. Yes. Like you were building a business, and you built a business that was successful, and you got it up to 6 figures, and I was doing my thing in real estate. But not to say that we like everywhere.
We were splintered.
Yeah, not to say we everywhere we want to be at right now, but when we decided to focus on like one thing, like I always talked about, like building the engine up. When you build the engine up and you got that engine going, then you can do another one. Like if we focused on real estate. Now we do different aspects now, but when we decided that we was going to work together on one thing and build that up, that's where we saw like a change and a shift.
But I think there's a lot of things. This is kind of a loaded conversation, because you can look at, so when you look at side hustles, you know, we talked about people get side hustles just sometimes to make the ends meet. A lot of people do get side hustles to try to get ahead. But the problem is, again, if you're getting a side hustle, you are exchanging time for money. So when you are directly exchanging time for money, there needs to be some kind of an exit plan, some kind of an end goal, right? We talk to our adult children about this all the time, because they're already talking about, I'm so tired. I'm tired of my job, or I want to do this or I want to do that, but I don't have the time, because you are directly exchanging time for money. So I think, when you're talking about a side hustle, there has to be an exit plan for that. There has to be an end goal. I have gotten this particular side job, side hustle, or whatever for what? For X. And once I get there, then I stop. So is it because essentially you want to get out of directly exchanging time for money to not doing that, or to buying assets that make you money.
Yeah.
So are you, if you are exchanging time for money, but your expenses are still meeting the same amount of money that you're making, you're definitely not going to get ahead there. So, you know, like you said, sometimes people don't get ahead because your expenses are still the exact same as the additional income that you've brought in. You've got to figure out a way to lower those expenses, or you're just going to continue. It's just going to continue to be a rat race. If you can figure out how to lower those expenses, or even save just a small amount until you can get to a place where you can buy an asset, meaning something that'll make you money, not take your money. That's where it's going to be key. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's going to be, okay, now it's making a difference. But we continue to, again, exchange time for money, and that's not where it's at. I mean, it's good that you're, you know, being productive. Not productive, because sometimes you can just be busy, but if you're exchanging time for money, that's not where it's at. That's definitely not where it's at. I don't know, Jen, what you think?
I see the side hustles as like your backup plan. So you talked about COVID, and a lot of people that only had that one job and only had that one source of income, when COVID hit and that income ended, or now, you know, everybody's laid off or what have you, they out in the wind. Whereas the people who had some kind of other skill or some kind of backup thing or some kind of other source of income, you know, were able to maintain. Like in my situation, I had my business, my photo booth business, and then my son had his popcorn business, which was a side thing. I mean, he was 8,
right?
You know, so but when events stopped and we weren't able to do photo events at all anymore, but everybody was home eating popcorn. We were able to float our house and to maintain our regular lifestyle because we ramped up on the side hustle.
I like it.
So having that security could be needed, especially in 2024 when a lot of people are looking for jobs for 6-7 months to a year, are you know, getting laid off, etc.
I think it's so. Jay, since you brought up the topic, can you define what you mean by side hustle? Because, you know, it could be side hustle mean you get another job, or side hustle mean you're doing something outside of working for someone else.
So I'll give you 2 things. So this topic came about because me and Jen were having a conversation about you know, different titles and things like that. And you know how we talk a lot about, you know, inflation and economics and things like that. We were thinking of ways to combat the rising prices of living expenses, you know, where rent is going up, groceries are going up. Like this morning, we was talking about
my lotion was so expensive.
The lotion going up. So we were talking about, can side hustles be a solution for the rise in the price of living expenses and things like that? But my point of view is a little bit different because I've personally experienced like working like 4 different working jobs and side hustles, like doing 4 different things at one time. And it didn't help me get ahead. It just kind of helped me stay afloat. But like you said, to your credit, it's like if you have a plan, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this for a certain amount of time. And I'm going to take this and get it to something passive to where I don't have to trade my time for money.
Like your sorority sister. She sold makeup for her a little bit. And obviously she built up that nest egg, that capital, so that then she could buy an asset. So she at home sleep. While she's making money. And that's I think that's the best thing ever. When you can make money in your sleep, now we're talking. Now we're making business moves and making money moves. And we don't, unfortunately, I see it time and time again, we don't get there.
Here's the thing. Here's the second part of it. Like what Jen was saying, she was saying like when Rico was able to do the popcorn and things like that during COVID, that was a solution for them. And the solution for us, like this YouTube stuff started to really take off for us during COVID because people, this is how we started the whole channel. People were scared to go out and look at houses. So we were doing the reviews of rentals. We was doing the virtual tours of the rentals. And then we did properties for sale. And then we started doing a podcast and people were at home. They were sitting watching the videos, or they were deciding where they were going to move, whether it was a rental or something for sale based off of those videos. And now people listen to the podcast. Shout out to everybody who's been following us since COVID. But now we're to the point where our channel is now being, monetized, and we can make additional income off of that. So we make one episode or we make one video and it's on YouTube, and we could be showing houses or on vacation or whatever. So that's another stream of income. But we've had our season. I mean, I was throwing newspapers. You done been a product person.
I was a sample lady.
Sample lady at the grocery store. And we
with a master's degree. Y'all missed that whole piece. That was during the recession.
Yeah, and I was buffing the floors at the church. I done sold millions of dollars worth of real estate. Done sold over 200, 300 houses to people. I was buffing the floors at the church and cleaning the bathrooms, and I would have to turn on the air conditioner, turn it off at a certain time during the sermon going on. Or I'm dipping water in the pool, making sure the pools are level, opening up the pool for little kids and getting frogs out the skip.
We done had our years. Remember I stepped in that dog poop? I will never forget that.
You stepped in it with the.
If you're new here, maybe you haven't heard this story before. But he had a paper route. Now, when do you throw papers out? Before the sun come up?
She thought I was being lazy.
At the
I told her
dawn?
this was the paper route
from hell.
And
I said, you're being dramatic.
Okay? I never got to the end of the paper route.
I said, you're being dramatic. I'm going to come with you.
Because pull up.
You're just being too dramatic. You have to get there, 2 in the morning? Something like that? Because that's when the papers get there.
Yeah, the papers get to the facility. Now,
and then you have to wrap the papers.
You just go pick the papers up. They already done. You got to go to the
stack of papers.
To the paper mill. And they give you papers and you got to stick them in the plastic.
And then you got to put them in your car.
Yeah.
And the people there said, don't open your car doors. Open the windows.
So you can stick more
in there. So you can stick more in there and they won't fall out. This is ridiculous, but it's true. Sundays were obviously the big ones because those were the big papers. You had the coupons in there, so you had even more stuff.
But and you had to do no off days. It's 7 days.
No, 7 days a week. No off days. And then you have to go to do this paper route. Yeah, and yours was definitely the one from hell. There was 3 parts.
That's why it was available. I didn't know. That's why that one was available. That's why it was available. Nobody wanted this paper route.
Nobody could finish it.
It had like 5 different parts to it.
You were on part 2 or 3, I think.
3. I think
and I was going, you were being very dramatic. I'm going to come and help you because you're doing too much. Anyway, you were so delirious. One of your eyes was starting to droop a little bit. You were that tired because you would come home and it would be about 7:30 and you have to get up and go to work at 9.
8.
Oh, 8, yeah.
I had to be at work at 8 then.
So you were getting 0 sleep. And I thought you were just being dramatic. So I said, I'm going to join you. And I do this paper route. And I'm like, I'm a G. If you want to ride or die, sorry, I'm taking. Because I'm his ride or die. But we had that SUV, that Durango, and it had bike racks, at the top.
She was like,
and so I said, I'm not even going to get in the car, okay? Once we get to the location, I'm going to hang on outside of the car.
Like the dump truck.
That's right.
Like the trash people.
That's right. And you just go slow, and I'm just going to jump off, throw the paper, and jump back on. Jump off, throw the paper, jump back on. And so I was like, this is great. So we get to one of these little 4 quadplexes, maybe 8 in a unit, I don't know. And I stepped in something slippery, but that's okay. I caught myself. We keep going. I jump back in the car, and Jay goes, "What is that smell?" And I said, "I don't know." But it's whatever. It's dark, so nobody can tell. I jump back out. I throw some more papers. I get back in. Jay is like, "Seriously, what is that smell?" I said, "I know. I smell it too. What is going on?" We turn on the lights, and I have stepped in, not poop. I've stepped in some shit. I stepped in dog shit, and
you had on like some Vias.
Oh
like,
yeah, they were not. Yeah, they were like dad shoes. They were the ultimate dad shoes that had all the traction
in there.
And I was mortified. So then we had to stop, and I had to scrape my shoes. I was so mad. I lost my ride or die status at that point because I was crying and carrying on. It was a mess.
We had to finish that route smelling.
Still had to finish smelling like shit the whole rest of the night. I went home and cried. I said, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. But anyway, and after that, I think we quit soon thereafter, I believe, because I said, okay, you're no longer being dramatic. You were for real. This was the paper route from hell.
That's why I was still there.
And with that, we never even got ahead. We just were sleepless. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, you tired all the time.
We were exhausted.
Yeah.
And Jonathan was like 2 at the time. He was a little baby. Mm-hmm. Maybe not even 2 yet. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting. And I was growing a business at the time. Mm-hmm. So we've got so many stories.
Remember you was working at the hotel and you would fall asleep on the couch and the guests would come to check in. But
they had to wake me up.
They had to wake her.
They had to wake me up.
Wake her up.
But let me tell you something. Once I woke up, though, you had amazing customer service. Okay, you had the smile of a lifetime. Hi, welcome. They just had to wake me up a little bit. Excuse me, in one of those. Hi, welcome. Can I get you some juice? Can I, the water, everything. So, they had amazing customer service. I was just tired. I met Layla Ali. Remember that?
Yeah.
While I was dressed as the Honey Nut Cheerios bumblebee. That was embarrassing.
That's not how you wanted to meet.
It really wasn't.
Layla Ali.
That really wasn't. And she goes, oh my God, you're so cute. I was so embarrassed. Oh my goodness. This really happened to us.
So side hustles, they can be a savior to help you get by.
They can.
Or close the gap in money needed to survive, but they seldom help you get to thrive. Because I remember like when I was working at the church, and that was like just a couple years after when we had the real estate collapse. So that was like 2010, 11, like a couple years after 13. Real estate was just terrible. Yeah. Like that money that I used to get from the church, being a property manager, facilities manager at the church, that closed the gap. Like, that was like, okay, that helped. That was like a stimulus, something that helped out. Yeah. But it didn't really help us like get ahead. Yeah. So put in the chat if you can name somebody who like came up
from a side
hustle or side job. Like I can't think of nobody that came up from working a second job or a side hustle. Like, oh, I did this and now I can't. Versus going.
Maybe you can.
If you can't, put it in the comment. I can't think of nobody.
You're talking about like millionaire, like
like they
just where it remained a side hustle. Because again, that's the thing. It's like, okay, I'll tell you one of the pet peeves. Because it kind of goes with this. One of my biggest pet peeves is to see somebody that just has too many things. Like you talk to them and they're like
jack of all trades.
They have a food business and they do food. And then they also do they're wedding officiants, and then they also do hair, and then and so you're like, what is it that you do? Because what I find is that when you have all these side hustles going on, in different industries and all the things, you can't focus. You cannot focus. You are stretched way too thin. And even if one of those were to has the potential to become successful, you will never see it because you are stretched way too thin. And I feel like a lot of times some of us don't give what we've originally been given a chance because we're on and off to the next thing.
So that was my next thing.
Oh, am I getting ahead of you?
No. I think that a lot of people operate multiple side hustles because of the unwillingness to start a legitimate business. So it's a side hustle because it's like easy come, easy go. Now, when you get a EIN, register your stuff, pay for a website, people.
When you start paying taxes on it.
People who my favorite saying, somebody told me this recently, people who pay attention. So when it's a side hustle, you ain't got no business license to lose, no accountability.
Easy come, easy go?
Yeah, easy come because you got multiple side hustles because it's easy come, easy go. And it's like the unwillingness to start a legitimate business because you can stop and start it because it's a side hustle. I think that's why people have like side hustles because it's not that much of a commitment. Like, if you, it's just like
Did we lack commitment when we like first started our businesses? Or was it out of necessity?
I'm a very slow learner. And although I'm very creative, I like to create things, I'm pretty consistent. Like, you met me, I did some form of real estate. I still, to this day, do some form of real estate. I haven't I do different things. Now we got a podcast.
Okay,
I'm working on
so in our,
that.
So this is good because we're our own case study, right? Mm-hmm. You were in real estate, and then I had my event childcare business, right? Mm-hmm. Both of them were surviving at the same time, but it didn't take off until I shut my business down and joined you. I mean, still, we were flip-flopping until we finally, like, the gears started grinding, but, or gears started turning, but would we have both been successful in two separate industries?
I think no. Mm-hmm. I think no. Here's why.
Or does it just matter because it's...
I think no. Here's why. Now, we don't have no control over how the economy does. Like the real estate recession, like you couldn't understand the real estate collapse.
I was so mad at you. I really thought it was your fault.
And she thought me personally, Jameen Willis was doing bad in real estate.
Like, you need to fix this now.
Yeah. And like my hero, my inspiration had a nervous breakdown and couldn't trip and fall over a cell just like me. So I'm looking at my hero, my inspiration, my reason for getting into real estate, and I'm seeing his house getting foreclosed on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just got engaged. I just got married. Like, I got a new family, kids.
We were a whole family of 4 instantly.
And a wife that came from corporate America that didn't understand, like, how real estate works. You don't make any money unless you successfully have a closing and complete house.
Mad.
So you got to have clients.
Why didn't you close this?
You got to have clients that can get pre-approved to buy a house, to sell a house, and those were few and far in between. So that was difficult because the thing that I did, my career got affected the most during that time period.
It did, for sure.
And then,
100%.
So I think that when people start a business, it's great if you're a married couple, it's good for one person to have that full-time job, that stability. And we was like, I know, let's quit the full-time corporate job. And, so we had the right idea during the wrong period.
Wrong time.
Then we had during the wrong time. And then we were like, we both was trying to do the right thing at the wrong time. Like, we should have focused on one, and then we focused. Yeah, then we finally focused on one, and it was able to grow. Yeah. So that's it's the same thing from a side hustle. So whether it's like starting 2 businesses or having a full-time job and a side hustle, it's like you don't have that right combination. So you need a full-time job, and then this person starts a business, and you give them time. You still stay working this full-time job, and 100%. You give them time or y'all time to grow this business up. And when y'all get that business grown, then you can leave that job.
Yeah.
Or here's the other thing. It's the same problem as a lot of black people. We start a business, but it's a service-based business where we still trade in time for money.
Yeah.
So whether it's realtor, landscaping, barber, hairstylist, nails, you physically got to wake up in the morning and do something. So we make the same mistake when selecting our side hustle as we do of selecting our business that we decide to open versus like a Rick Ross. A Rick Ross can buy a Wingstop. He ain't in there dumping no lemon pepper fries. He buying the franchise.
But how do you get to that though?
Rick Ross talked about how he worked, not worked, but he built up his rap career not making no money, but he focused on rap. Rick Ross didn't say, oh, I'm going to rap, and then I'm going to start a Checkers, and then he, you know what I mean? So he focused on one thing. He focused on rap. Same thing with Ice Cube. Ice Cube made his money from rap, and then he did Cube Vision, started doing Friday. Now that grew up. Now he got the big three. But if he was trying to do music, acting, sports, and all this stuff, he had all these side hustles. Ice Cube was like, if you're not willing to not make a dollar for a few years, you in the wrong thing. So I think that we need to,
even outside of that. I mean, I think of T.D. Jakes. Now he's in controversy right now, but his business acumen is stellar. Okay, because so he has books. He has a publishing company. Yep. He has a movie producing company. And he's in real estate, and he's like in a whole bunch of other things. But I watched him, and I watched his trajectory of how he got there. He started but he's always been a businessman, but even before like being a pastor. And so he wrote books. And then he didn't jump off into other things until this one thing took off.
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's what then funded everything else. I think sometimes we can get too scatterbrained to where, oh, this is going good. And maybe you might have a good season. Oh, now I want to go and do this. Or, now I want to go, open a whole publishing company and everything. Now you have 2 baby businesses that you're trying to juggle. And now you got to pick up another side hustle because these 2 baby businesses can't sustain you or each other. And so now like you said, focus on the one thing.
Yeah.
Focus on the one thing. It might take a minute. It might be difficult, but that was one of the lessons that we had to learn. Stop being so splintered. That was a conversation we had. What are we going to focus on?
Yeah.
And we decided that it was going to be real estate because you don't like to play with kids. Like, you just can't entertain kids.
That was possible.
That was possible.
No,
but you couldn't entertain kids.
Pause, no diddy.
But that was funny. But we decided that real estate was going to be what we focused on.
Yeah.
And it was hard because like you can't easily get distracted, but staying in that vein and saying, this is what we're going to focus on. This is where we're putting all of our energy, all of our time, our investments, everything into real estate. That was the only time when we've now seen it take off. And it hasn't been overnight at all. No. It has not been overnight. It has been a consistent working of our craft, a consistent working of our vision and everything else. I think also so many times we see the end result on social media. You see, this person's in real estate. They also have, they're lawyers. They are, they have a publishing company. They have this, they have that. You also see a whole bunch of people on social media saying, here are 7 side hustles you need to be working. Hold up. Wait a minute. First of all, y'all only one side hustle is telling everybody else what to do. So chill. Like, you gotta take the meat and spit out the bones. You gotta determine what are you gonna specialize in. What are you going to focus in on? What are you gonna be all in on before you start to splinter everything?
Yeah.
Like you really gotta stop and look at if especially on social media, am I looking at the end result here? or am I looking at like what their actual journey? Because our actual, like what we're looking at now, and this is not even our end result, believe me.
Yeah.
But what we have seen is when we decided to focus, that's when things started to, make sense and started to grow more, not even slantwise, but more exponentially.
I think that's part of the problem too, now that I think about it. Because, when you see somebody on Instagram, you can do the same thing with like side hustles or professions as you do as looking at somebody. They're going to show their best photo that they ever took in their life and put it on Instagram.
Yep.
And you think they look like that every single day. They don't look like that every single day.
Yeah.
So you looking at this person who is a speaker. They have a book and they got all this stuff, but you're not looking at the 20, 30 years that it took them to get to position to be a speaker. And the bruises that they got. And had a book and a blah, blah, blah. And all those
how many events nobody came to.
And how many events
that nobody
We've had events that no one has showed up for. Like people think that it's always been packed for us. It has not.
Yeah, I done had home ownership seminars.
Well, one person came.
Bible studies.
Yep.
All kind of stuff. I done had a stream yard and one person on there.
One person's in there.
On there. And I recorded it.
But we recorded it and we made sure that we still gave it our all.
Yeah, we still left the quality
when you
there.
see that happen, you think, oh, I'm not supposed to be in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go back and see. Like, don't just think, oh, well, you know what? Let me get out of here. Let me go and try something else. Y'all, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. But one of the things that, I got to stress is how are you measuring this as success?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's going to be a side hustle that's then going to turn into something or result in something, again, side hustles have to have some kind of an exit plan in order for you to really, truly get ahead.
Yeah.
Is it going to save you some money? Is it going to make you a certain amount of money? Be specific. Have it be measurable.
Yeah.
At this certain time, after 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, whatever that time frame is for you, have you saved up XYZ amount of money? Mm-hmm. And then what are you going to do with that afterwards? Okay, I've now saved up $5,000. Can $5,000 buy me my first ATM so that I can put it somewhere that can then, make me money where I can now get my sleep back, where I can now get my time back? So now you have a side hustle, but now it's only 12 months. Yeah. Because now after 12 months, I will have made this amount of money. I will be able to save this up. And then in those 12 months, you're working on where that asset is going to be planted and placed so that you can then make that money and get your time back.
Smarter side hustles.
Yeah.
But so I think we make the same mistake selecting a side hustle as we do as selecting a business that we start. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to have a side hustle, pick a side hustle where you don't have to trade your time for money. So like Jen, you do the Amazon stuff. You don't have to go somewhere. You got stuff online.
It's automated.
Yeah, to where it's like passive income. I just looked and saw that my cryptocurrency that I bought that went super down is back up. I bought that during the currency. So cryptocurrency, stocks, drop shipping, a book, a podcast, something that you don't have to get up in the morning and punch a clock or go nowhere to make that money, or buy a wing stop or what you call vending machines. Like you buy a vending machine, you set it up. You may have to go once a month and replenish it or whatever. But so if you're going to do a side hustle, do a side hustle that's smarter, that you don't have to trade as much of your time for money as you may have to do with your 9 to 5. And it's the same thing for me. Every house that I flip, it's still a job. Like I gotta go look at the house. I gotta check on contractors. I gotta do that. But I'm buying one rental property at a time, because that rental property, once I get it rented out, that's monthly income coming in every month. So I'm still flipping houses, but then I'm buying a rental property here, rental property there. So I'm building up my passive income. So that's my side hustle to build my passive life, so I could be at the fountain blue again. You know what I'm saying? With you. So I think we need to have smarter side hustles.
Smart side hustles.
Because
Set
if
goals.
you doing something else
plan.
straight in time for money, it's low probability that it's gonna help you get ahead. It may help you now. You gotta do what you gotta do. Like we told our stories, we did what we had to do to make ends meet. But if you're thinking that you're gonna get ahead, it's just not that realistic.
Have an end goal in mind. Have an exit plan. Make sure it's measurable.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you know what you're gonna do with that afterwards.
So speaking of having passive income and time to do things, let's talk about some current events. Las Vegas is making some changes. So here, I just want to point out that we recently was able to take a staycation of sorts, and we went to go visit the newly opened. I think it's the newest. No, the
Fountain Blue.
Yeah, the Fountain Blue. Didn't know if the Durango or the Fountain Blue was.
Oh, Durango just opened too.
Durango was latest. One of the newest.
Durango is a station casino, which is like more not local, but it's not like
local.
Is it local? Yeah.
Yeah. So we were able to visit the Fountain Blue. We went to the one in Miami.
Yeah,
we went there for our anniversary. So we went to go check out the one in Vegas. So it was dope. It wasn't without its kinks. They still working out some things. We had to switch, rooms and different things like that. But it was it's definitely not your regular.
It's beautiful in there.
Run of the mill. It was more upscale.
We went to Poppy Steak. That was a good spot.
That was a vibe.
Listen, let me tell you, if Vegas is gonna do anything, Vegas is gonna Vegas. We had a reservation at 5:30. I would say in the afternoon. And they had a whole DJ in that state.
Yep.
And I mean, he was playing the best music. I had to turn around a couple times. Excuse me, listen. You are playing your behind off. I had to just go up there and tell him. I felt like an old lady at that point, but I had to tell him, you are playing your behind off. You got that Maxwell in there. I said, now listen here. You put that Maxwell on, it's over. It's a wrap.
Did you call him a whippersnapper?
Listen here.
Tap on the shoulder and say, young man.
Listen, young man, you are playing that.
You tap somebody on the shoulder and say, young man, you know you.
Hey, I felt it. He played that Maxwell. I said, okay. That was okay. But that was cool. We went to the spa. We had a spa day. Mm-hmm. That was really nice. They're not serving food in there yet. So that was like, ugh.
Yes, it's more you. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, no. If I'm going to have a spa day, those of you who believe in spa days, if you're going to have a spa day, you want to be able to order food. You know what I'm saying? It's a day.
They have pralines.
I was pralined out. I had enough banana chips
water
for anybody. Flat water, sparkling water, I don't care what it tastes like. I was done. I was over it. I needed actual food. And if I see another cashew right now, it will be too soon. Eat
before you come. If you come early, you should have had breakfast. If you
they didn't say that on the website. They didn't say it on the website. Anyway, we're trying to do more things like that and like have more staycations and just get out. Apparently, we work too much.
Well, people think that people that don't live here think, they think Vegas, they think the Strip. Like, we don't go down to the Strip that much at all. Yeah, so we've only been to we
were like, this is
2% of things it is to do in Las Vegas.
Touristy.
We've only done about 2% of the stuff that it is to do in Las Vegas.
Facts.
You got to make the move now because some stuff is changing and you're not going to be able to go there at all anymore.
Like so the Tropicana, never been in there, and now it has closed.
Well, we've been to the Tropicana once, I think.
You have. I have not.
No, we went to where is Dick's Last Resort?
That's in
Excalibur.
Oh. So we were not. And now they have closed because we're getting a new baseball stadium. The Oakland A's are now coming, I believe.
And I heard that the stadium is like a low, it's like, not a big seating.
This big. Yeah, it's going to be small. It's going to be small. So basically,
do you see how the people with long faces acting like they were so sad that the Tropicana was closing on the news?
You've got the local news, right? And they're all set up. And, you've got people that, got their phones up, staring lovingly into the Tropicana. I thought that was hilarious. But
so the last time I was in the Tropicana had to have been 6 years ago. And even then, you kind of felt like, maybe I should get a shot after
hope I don't get scratched by anything in here, right? Yeah.
What's in the Tropicana? Do they have any
It was what was, babe. We don't know. It's gone. I mean,
they're selling the furniture and stuff now, though.
Are
so
they?
if y'all want to,
Old hotel resort furniture. The
They got the cabana
sins that
stuff,
have
at
been
least.
committed on that furniture. The Tropicana. I know I've been in there, but I just can't think of nothing.
you drove by it. You ain't been in there.
No, we've never been in there. I promise you.
I feel like I've been in there.
They were all the B-roll, and there was nothing in there that you would have recognized.
Tropicana.
You've never been in there.
I think I've been in there.
Speaking of things also closing, the Lost Spirits Distillery in Area 15 is closing. That stinks because they just opened, I want to say 2021. They haven't even been open for 3 years, I don't think.
We went there during COVID. It wasn't even there.
It wasn't even there then. So yeah, they are.
The first time we went to
It's
Area 15.
modern Cirque show, rum distillery, cocktail party. So a lot of things happening. My best friend.
You still have time for that. That one
they're
closes
closing at the end of the month.
April.
So maybe we'll check it out. I mean, it seems cool, but that's at Area 15. But also, things come and go at Area 15. They rotate things out. Now, I don't know if that was supposed to be a mainstay thing, but we've seen things change in and out of Area 15. But I really like Area 15. Do you go like often?
I went once, and
I
went with my son, and I would, if I go again, I'm going with grown folks. Like, I'm not taking kids.
It's more of a grown folks type of place.
It is more of a, it seems like a whole, it seems like a amusement park place, but it is more for grown people. We went, we did Omega Mart, which is really weird. It's weird. It's fun, but it's weird. And then we went to, we did axe throwing not too long ago. That's new.
That was good.
That was fun. That was new. They made us. They said, "Here, you can have a shot. It's free." Remember? Mm-hmm. And then they turned around and said, "But you got to pay for the glass."
It's ridiculous.
I said, "This is real touristy."
Like
trickery.
They played you.
This is real touristy.
And it was an expensive shot glass too.
And then he was like, "But you, in order to get the free shot, you have to give us a Google review." So we do the Google review. He brings a shot. We throw the axes. He brings the bill back. I said, "What's this?" He said, "Oh, the glass wasn't free."
Yeah, they call that the switcheroo.
That's switcheroo?
I could have threw an axe at him.
So I didn't like that, Jacob. I just want you to know I didn't like it at all.
Why you gotta point my man?
Well, because
he needs to know.
It's still. I wanted to change that Google review,
now,
but I didn't.
Talk about me. You call somebody's real life.
I didn't say last name.
No, because when we tag Area 15, they're gonna be like, Jacob, what are you doing?
Why would you do that? I mean, who knows? You know what I'm saying? But whatever. I took them. I took
he's
those
moved
glasses
on to bigger and better.
Well, I may be. I shown up took them glasses home though, and I wanted to look at the other tables. Y'all got some other glasses because I didn't still enough pay for them. Anyway, so check out Area 15. Maybe we'll do a field trip over there. We'll do a little Willis team on location. That could be fun. And check it out. That would be fun.
I like the barbecue place.
Yep. They have some good restaurants in there. But yeah, maybe we can do like one of their experiences and bring y'all along with us. That might be fun. Y'all like when we do crazy things, I guess.
Tell the people about the real estate.
Yes. We are up for the real estate minute of the day. Let's talk about affordability. Now, just because you have been pre-approved for it doesn't mean that you can still afford it. All right. So just because you've been approved for a certain amount doesn't mean that you have to purchase a house for that particular amount. Okay. We want you to be homeowners, but we don't want you to be house poor. And that's a big, big difference. So an easy way for you to figure this out is just to talk to your loan officer. Let your loan officer know what you would prefer to pay every month for your mortgage. Now, there are some things that you need to consider when you're looking at your mortgage payment. You're going to be paying your mortgage, your insurance. You're going to be paying the taxes. You're also going to be paying the interest. All that's going to be a part of your mortgage payment. If you live in a community that maybe has an HOA, that's not a part of your mortgage, but it is going to be part of that monthly payment. It's going to also go against your debt to income ratio. So all of these things are factored in where you're talking about what you can afford per month. Now, this doesn't stop you, and this shouldn't stop you from being or becoming a homeowner, but it's definitely a conversation to have with your loan officer. Again, we want you to be homeowners and not house poor. And that's your real estate minute of the day. All right. Well, this was an interesting topic.
Yes.
And work smarter, not
hustle.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder. Smarter side hustles. Make sure you got an end goal in mind. And we want to see y'all do well. That's the point. We want to see you do well. We've learned a lot of bumps and bruises, or learned from a lot of our bumps and bruises along the way. And so that's why we share.
May you never have to dress up like a bumblebee another day.
Or stepping dog shit. But thank you.
You talk about you being real edgy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cussing,
dog poop.
You naming people's government names, and you talk about me.
Yeah, you're right.
On this here podcast.
Maybe it's me getting us canceled this time. I apologize. I don't know I must be hungry. I don't know. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We are the Willises. This is what happens when you're at home with the Willises. All right. Make sure you subscribe before you go, and we will see you next time.